Hi, guys. So this is Mrs. Bedamo, and today, like I said, we're going to talk about the next part of the project, sheets number 5, 6, and 7, the weekly updates of your stock prices, the transaction sheets, and then how you're tracking your stock's performance in the total portfolio sheet, which is graphing chart sheet number 7, which was a separate file, right? When I posted this up, I had the project, and then I had a separate document that was just number 7. So make sure you go back to the assignments page where the project pack is. Number 7 is a different sheet. It's its own separate sheet because I had to do the layout in landscape instead of portrait, and I couldn't do both layouts um, in the same document. Okay, but we'll go through all those. So we're just going to scroll down now. So yesterday, or over the last couple of days, you should have been working on number 2, right? The information about your stocks. And then yesterday was the beginning chart for stocks and mutual funds, because in order to track your investments, you have to decide how much you're going to buy and of what. So that's what you did yesterday. So today is going to be a lot of just copying and pasting in these 3 new worksheets: the weekly update, the transaction sheet, and the graphing chart. But moving forward, you'll be putting in original information. Okay, so there was our buying stocks, there was our beginning chart for mutual funds. And so now we get to the weekly update, which I kind of showed you a little bit yesterday. So as you can see, each week, right, each week is listed here: 5/11, 5/18, 5/25, 6/1, 6/8, and 6/15. So this gives you lots of different opportunities to update your information, right? You have an entire week to fill out 3 little charts, each with not very much information if you keep up with it on a regular basis. So for this first week, 5/11, it's very easy. It's going to be a lot of just cut and pasting, right? You're going to put your company names, all the ones you invested. So I have my 2 examples of Amazon as a company. My mutual fund is Buff BX, but you might have, Ford, you might have Visa, you might have Apple, you might have, some Pfizer drug company, whichever companies you've decided to pick to invest in. Always a good investment strategy, just as a tip, is to diversify. Don't have all your companies in the same sector. Like, don't have all restaurants or all clothing stores or all technology companies. Have a company from each one of those areas. And the easiest ones, the best ones, are what we call blue chip stocks. And that had been way back in my Dow Jones worksheet that I had submitted for you guys. Those are companies that have been around for a very, very long time. And over all that time have continued to grow in value. They're steady companies. You're not going to buy them today, sell the stocks tomorrow, and make $1 million, but you'd buy into those companies today, hold on to them for 15, 20 years. And then in 15, 20 years, they will have increased exponentially, usually in their value. And then you would sell it off then, because the idea of making money on the stock market is to sell your shares for more than you paid for them. So the only way you're going to make money here on Amazon is if the stock price goes to $3,000, $4,000, and you sell it at that point. If the stock drops down to just, say, $400, well, you've lost $2,000 on every share you purchased. Okay, so anyway, so today the easy thing to fill out this is just copy in all your company's names. Go to your price per share, right? Go up here to where you have your price per share, whatever you entered in this column. You're just going to cut and paste that number and put it back down here under week 1. And that's it for this sheet. Next week, right, starting on Monday when the markets are open, because they're going to close at 5 p.m. Tonight. That's what they do. They operate from 9 to 5, and then they close. And then they will reopen again for trading on Monday. So on Monday, you can go in, or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or any day up till Friday, any day next week, Monday through Friday, and go back to your Yahoo Finance, right? And so for today, we're just going to pretend, since it's been a couple of days that I looked up Amazon. So let's pretend it's Monday and I go back to Yahoo Finance and I go to my quote lookup and I type in AMZN because I know that that is my stock symbol now. There's my Amazon. And let's see what Amazon is currently trading at today. Give it a second to load up. 2388. 2388. So I would go back to my chart. And then for week 2, I would type in $2,388. And I don't remember what the cents was. Let's just say it was 90 cents. I don't remember what it was. 2388, right? I would put that in. And then I would go on to my next one. What's Buff BX? And I would just update all my prices. That's all I have to do for this chart. Okay. But as you can see from week 1 to week 2, oh my goodness, it's already gone down. Not by a lot, but it's gone down a little bit. So we're going to have to wait and see what's going to happen next week in week 3. Okay, so how do you predict whether you should buy or sell your stocks, right? So if this was a dramatic drop, let's say it went from 2,404 down to 1,404, drops by $1,000, and that has happened in the history of stocks where there's that dramatic of a drop. I might say to myself, "Oh my goodness, this is not looking good. Something happened with Amazon. There was a hostile takeover. There was something that disrupted all of their shipping. Some major thing happened to make the stock price drop. I know it's going to go down lower. I better sell all this stock and invest my money in something else before I lose even more money." Or if it had gone up by, you know, $1,000 and it was 3,388, you might be like, wow, what are the chances of this going up any higher? I can make $1,000 on each of my shares. If I sold all my shares, 10 shares, that's $10,000. I could use $10,000 now. I think I'm going to do that and invest that money in something else. Then you might decide to sell everything. Okay, where do you keep track of that? That will be down here in your transaction sheet. So for the first day, as you notice, I already have this filled out. For the first week, I have this all filled out, 5/11 as the date, where you're going to put all of your companies and your mutual funds. So you might do Buff BX, right? You might do Apple, AAPL, you might do Visa, whatever your companies are that you've put in your charts. And again, this part can be cut and paste, right? You can go to your beginning stock chart, select all your companies, cut and paste them in. Select all your price per share, cut and paste it in. Select how many shares, cut and paste it in. Then do the total value, right? Your price per share times, that's what this X for, right? Price per share times number of shares equals the value of your shares. How much is it going to cost to buy these stocks, right? And then you can cut and paste that in up until 5/11, right? You're going to do all that. But is that all you really pay for stocks? No. There is a commission that needs to be paid, a fee that needs to be paid for the stocks you buy to the stock exchanges. That's how they make money. That's how they stay in business. So in this case, we're making it easy. The commission is just a flat $8 fee. No matter how much your shares cost, you're just going to add, right? When you're buying, you're going to add $8. If you're selling, and I'll explain that in a minute, you're going to sell. I'm going to subtract $8. Okay. So you're going to add the $8 fee to how much you're already paying for your stocks. So in this case with Amazon, the stocks cost $24,000, $24,041.90. But you also have to pay an additional $8. So 8 plus that equals $24,000, $24,050.90. Okay, we're going to put an X in this sell column because we're not selling, we're buying. So we're just going to blank that out right now. So how do you know what your remaining balance is? You started with $100,000 minus the $24,000 equals $75,949.10. Right? Let me do the Buff BX just to show this to you. So if I go back up, I think it was about $13, right? What was the Buff BX? $13.54, right? So let's do that. $13.54. I had 100 shares I purchased, so that equaled $1,354 and no cents. But that's not all I'm paying, right? I have to add $8 to that, so that's going to be 1,300 and 62, right? $62, right? I'm not selling, so I leave that there. So 75,949. Let me get out my little calculator here so I can do this faster. So $75,949.10 minus, right? I'm subtracting this because this is how much cash I have, just like in a checkbook. This is how much I have left. So it's 75 minus this number, $1,362, which is going to make my balance now $74,587.10. Okay. And you're just going to keep going down the line. Okay. Like I said, a lot of this part here, right? Company, price per share, number of shares, value of shares, that's all going to be just cut and paste. You have to do a little bit of math, adding $8 to it here, right? $8 to each one, and then subtract. And I would just go one by one down the line, right? Subtract, new balance, subtract, new balance, subtract, new balance, subtract, new remaining balance. Okay, so let's go to here. If you notice, I highlighted this, right? So each week, as part of the project, you have to make one transaction. Could you do more? Absolutely, if you wanted to. The minimum is just to do one. That's why I kind of pre-filled this in for you to remind you how many you have to do. If you wanted to add more in here, more transactions in, buy or sell more of your stocks, right, that you own up here, you could do that. But each week you only have to do one. So when Monday comes along, 518, right, I want you to sell something, right? That's what we're going to alternate. So on 518, you're going to have to pick one of the things you own and sell it. How do you know which one to do? Which one would be good to sell? Well, you're going to go back up here. You're going to look at all your prices for week 2. That's why you have to do number 5 first. You're going to do all your prices for week 2. You're going to compare them and you're going to say, am I losing money? And am I predicting for week 3 I'm going to continue to lose money? Well, maybe I might want to sell that stock to cut my losses. Or did my stock go up so much? Let's pretend that Buff BX went up to, let's say, $25 and 75 cents. I'm making this up. And I say, wow, that jumped $10 and I have 100 shares. If I sold 10 of those shares, I'd make $1,000 and I'd still have 90 shares left to play with to see what would happen week 3, week 4, week 5. Maybe I'll do that and make myself some money. Okay, so it could go either way. You have to decide, right? By comparing this week to the next week and what in your head you think might happen the following week. This is where investing in stocks, if you're doing it on your own, you really need to read the news, right? You need to know what's going on. You need to follow all the business news, the newspapers, the business TV shows, what's happening with companies. Um, what's happening with their leadership, what's happening with their products, what's happening with the world around them. Like this pandemic has really shut everything down, so most companies are feeling a major decline right now, even though it has nothing to do with them, right? They didn't cause any of it. Wars can do that. Weather, major storms, tsunamis, hurricanes can do that to certain businesses. It usually doesn't happen worldwide like right now is happening because of this coronavirus. So we're living in very historic times. So anyway, going back to your transaction sheet, next week, after you look at all your price changes, you're going to pick one stock and you're going to sell some shares. You don't have to sell all the shares. You could sell one, you could sell half, you could sell all of them if you wanted. You're going to have to make that decision. Okay. So you put that company's stock symbol here. You put what the price is as of the week 518, whatever day it is. It doesn't matter. We're just going to keep the same week date, even if it's on the 20th or the 21st or whatever. So whatever the price is, how many shares you will be selling. Okay. It does not have to be all of them, right? So I had 100 shares in Buff BX last week. But maybe, like I said, if that's the one I want to sell because it made money, so I'm going to just do this for you, Buff BX, right? And I said it was, what was it? What did I put? Oops, excuse me. $25 and what did I say, 78 cents or something. Well, let's say, like I told you, I just want to sell 10 of them, right? I want to keep the other 90 because I think it's a good investment. It will continue to make me money. If it continues to go up, I'll have more things to sell at an even higher price, hopefully. So this is going to get me $2,578, right? If I sell them, if I sell 10 of them at $25 each, I'll make $2,578. But I'm not going to just get that money because even though the stock exchange will pay that money for me, they're still going to take a fee. So it's this amount minus $8. Okay, I'm not selling, I'm not buying. So I put an X in the buying. So I'm going to put this number over here. So $2,578 minus $8 means it's $2,570 that I will be getting that I'm going to add. So I'm just going to do a plus sign here to whatever my balance is at the end. Whatever this number is, I'm going to add this to it, and that's going to be my new balance, okay? Because I'm adding cash now by selling my stocks. Okay, then next week, the week after that, the 25th, you're going to sell, right? So that means you have to add, I should do 8, right? Add 8, right? You're going to buy something else, pick a stock that you want to buy more of, do the same thing, add the $8, put it in here, and subtract it. The week after, you're going to have to pick a stock and sell some of it again, like you had done up here. Then you're going to buy, then you're going to sell. I'll remind you each week of what transactions you're going to be doing, but just to give you a little walkthrough. And you can always come back to this video and watch it for instructions. And now the next chart, right? The graphing chart. This one is the most tedious. I hate this chart. So this one I've already filled out from the last semester, right? The fall semester, and I've just saved it for you. So that you can see, how it goes. So graphing chart, this really tracks everything. How much are your stocks worth total? Okay, so for this first week, let's just pretend that this is not November 21st, that instead this is May 11th, right? So I'll even change that for you here, right? 5-11, right? We'll just pretend. Okay, and so here's what we're going to do. We're going to cut and paste, right? All of our different companies, right? So I have Apple, McDonald's, Visa, Home Depot, United Health. What was F? I don't remember what F was now. Facebook, maybe? No, it wasn't Facebook. What was F? Ford. I think it was Ford. CVS and my mutual fund Buff BX, right? I made my life easy. I said it was $100 that I was buying, 100 shares I was buying for each of them. Here's the price. Again, whatever it was for you, cut and paste it in how many shares you bought in each of them. What was the current price per share, and what was the value of the shares. For this week, it's all going to be cut and pasted. It's very, very easy, right? And then you just add up the value of all of these, right? You can take that from, it's adding the total value of your stocks and your mutual fund, right? That was the value of your investments, how much you paid for the investments. But we know it wasn't really how much you paid because on the transaction sheet, you had those $8 charges. But this is the value of your investments that you bought. And how much cash did you have remaining? You have to go to your transaction sheet because this is how much cash you actually have remaining. Then you add what is the value of the things you bought plus how much cash you have left. Oh, notice down here it says $99,936. But wait a minute, I had $100,000. Why am I already short $64? Because I spent $64 in transaction fees. So for the first week, everybody's value should be $99,936. Okay, whatever your math is here, this plus whatever your cash is should enter add up to this. Then every week after that, it's going to change because the values of your investments are going to change. So the next week, you're going to, I said, right, make one change, right? On here, I changed my McDonald's shares, not anything else, right? Because you see everything else. How many shares do I own? Well, I still own 100 in Apple. I still own 100 in Visa, 100 in Home Depot, 100 in United Health, 100 in Ford, 100 in CVS, and 100 in my mutual fund because I decided instead to sell some of my McDonald's stock. Now, you see there was a change, slight change, 116.08 to 116.26. It went up a couple of cents. But just for the purposes of this exercise, I decided to sell some of those. So my number went down to 90. Okay. These are all the new prices per share, right? From my number 5 chart. I went in and I looked at what all the new prices were because they changed. Even though I didn't buy or sell anything else, all the prices changed, right? Apple in this case went down. Visa went up. Home Depot went up. United Health went up. Ford went down. CVS went down. And my mutual fund went down, right? So when I add up all of these new values, right, how many shares I had times the price per share, right, gives me a new value for each one of my holdings, right? It comes to $67,620. In general, my value went up. Okay. But so did my cash because I sold some of my stocks, right? I sold some of my stocks. So I added some more cash into here. So my total portfolio is now up. One, because my stock prices improved for most of my stocks. And by selling some of my stocks, I added more cash. So now my total worth is over the $100,000 I initially had by almost $2,000. Just to give you an example, what happened the following week? Okay. So the following week, look what I did here, right? What I decided to buy the following week was back my 10 shares in McDonald's. Okay. So, and why was that? Did it go up? It did go up, but I was like, maybe it's going to continue going up. And if you look over here, it does. So I want to buy some now, hoping that if I buy it cheaper now, by the next week, it will be worth more, which in this case, it was. Okay. I don't know that. I'm just predicting that. So I decided to buy back my 10 shares, did not do anything else with any of my other companies. I kept them at 100 shares, but if you notice again, I had to look up new prices, right? So I updated my prices, right, from my chart number 5 for this week, the third week in, and my prices went from 110 to 108. That went down. 116, 26 to 116.66. It went up, but Visa went down. Home Depot went down. United Health went down slightly. Ford went down slightly. CVS went up. It increased actually, and so did my Buff BX increase slightly. So let's see where my total netted out, though. If I multiply my number of shares times the price per share, plus, so that's these new values. If I add up how much my stocks are worth today, if I sold them all, right, add that up. If I sold everything today, I would get $67,041. Wow, down almost more than $500 from the week before. And because I bought some more shares, my cash is down as well. So when I add up my total worth, how much my stocks are worth, plus how much cash I have left, I'm down to 99. Okay. So hopefully that gives you the hang of how you fill this out. Remember, for the first week, you're just doing this right here. And then the following week, if you need this to kind of use as a guide, you can go back to it. But hopefully that explains how to fill this sheet out. So this down here, this number down here, this is the number that you as an investor are really always going to be concerned with. How much am I totally worth if I was to sell everything today? Okay. What is it worth? Okay, so far my best week would have been this, right? It's going down. But again, remember, investors invest for the long haul. So even though this is going down, if I have confidence in all these companies that whatever is making them go down is temporary and over many years in the future, These are going to be strong companies. They're going to stay strong. They're going to increase in their values. I don't worry about this number here because I know in another 5, 10 years, this number is going to well exceed this number now. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of explanation of how to fill in the next 5 charts. And that's what you're going to be doing for the next 5 weeks. And then when we get to the last week, in June, the week of June, I think it's 15th. That week, we'll fill out charts uh, 8, 9, and 10, which is basically going to be the numbers from this final week, right? How many shares did I own in my final week? How much was each one worth? What was the total value of my stocks? How much cash will I have at the end of the project? And what is my total value? Did it go up or did it go down from where I initially started? Okay, and that's what we're going to be tracking in this project. Hope this was helpful to you. Please shoot me any messages if it's confusing or if you need help. I am available. I am online. I don't get a lot of messages from my seniors. I spend most of my day answering questions from my freshmen, excuse me. But I am here for you and happy to help with any questions you might have. And we will sign off.